it gets drafted. If there's a violation, you have an avenue for enforcement, and an avenue that is cheap, really, really cheap, simply because of the way it's structured. That was the whole purpose. It's not to tell the little towns what to do, and we don't do that. The little towns come to us and say, this is what we want. And she writes it, and if they don't like it, then they changed it. Or tell her that we don't like this, we don't want this, they discuss it, and that's what it's done. You guys are free to absolutely do whatever you want.
What we're doing now.
Whatever you want. But there is nothing that is dictated to the various municipalities from us at all. We're a tool, not to be misinterpreted.
Which is not to say that there's not a lot of things that are actually required. I mean, the structure of state law within which municipalities are authorized to act can be pretty stringent. You know, we've got
And complex.
we've got and just learning to operate within those laws is sometimes challenging. The Sunshine Law itself is a fairly complex law that we don't have a choice as to whether to comply with it if we want to be in compliance with the law. And so we've written it up as part of the ordinances so that you don't have to go searching all the time to try to figure out how to find it or what you're required to do. Probably, I don't know, 3/4 of the ordinances are probably, I'm just guessing at 3/4, but are infrastructure, things that in order to operate legally, you're required to do under state law. And then, you know, however, the kinds of things that concern these folks are when you're dealing with the authorized authority that you have with regard to property maintenance and animals and things like that. Some of the things are required of you, others you're authorized to do. And that's where you have leeway to make, you know, to do what you decide.
Could I ask Lucille a question while she's here? I'm just wondering, because it isn't like we didn't have ordinances prior to the ones that we got rid of. Were we out of compliance in all of those, or we weren't functioning, or was it that we had no avenue to enforce them, and this is what?
Many of them were obsolete and no longer compliant with the law. Some required infrastructure was missing, just not there, even though it was required. In some, and in addition, you didn't have an avenue to enforce.
Yes. This has actually been pretty interesting, and if I understand correctly, is it possible that the trustees could go to you and say, you know, maybe we don't want to be this intrusive? Is obviously making people uncomfortable, and you could write it up in such a way that it didn't have to be so intrusive?
We write what the board tells us to write.
So really,
Then
if they ask for that,
As long as
You
it's
could-
lawful.
As long, yeah.
Yeah,
As long as
of
it's
course, we
lawful.
can't.
And I
We
will
can't
say,
violate
as a
law.
prosecutor, that I will not be involved in an entity where whatever law there is not applied evenly to all. If it's not applied evenly to all, then it is not constitutional, and I will not be a part of it. So there are certain limits. You know, you can't say, well, I don't like Joe Smith, let's go after him. But I really like Susan over there, so we're not going to, that's not the way it's going to work. It has to be applied evenly. Well, and the STCB would never endorse that, and I would not be a part of it. It has to be applied evenly
but
across the board.
theoretically they could even say, we don't want the administrative warrant. We don't want to get into prosecuting. What we want to do is convey to our village our vision for our duty. Is that funny?
Of course we can do that. I don't know what makes you think we couldn't. I mean,
Well,
you
no,
think we
because-
haven't been driving this all along, I guess, is what you're saying.
Well,
I think it's funny
wanted
because
to
I think
clarify
really
that.
Okay,
So
that's good that you did,
you
because I'm
do-
surprised that I mean, you're surprised, and so I'm surprised, and so I think it's great you clarified it.
The
That's
board
important.
knows full well that it can drive the process insofar as it remains legal.
Exactly.
And you advise
And there's
them
nothing
that we're
illegal
getting
about it.
illegal.
Yes.
And in the event that you want to do away with the STCB, that does away with any enforcement. And if you do away with enforcement, there's no need for ordinances.
Well, with the exception of, I would say with the exception of your infrastructure ordinances, because even if you didn't have one single issues ordinance, you really need a legal structure to operate within.
True.
To guide your actions, to guide your, and to guide your understanding of what the law requires of you, what the state law requires of you.
So if the board wanted you to rewrite the ordinance on administrative warrants to exclude the personal residence and personal private residence of its citizens, then they could do that.
The board drives that
And if they don't
process.
do that, then that means they
It's them
obviously
not,
support.
really, I think maybe you're taking too much of the heat. Although sometimes it seems like some things have been presented to the board that the board wasn't aware of.
When there is a change in the law that is directly, directly required, and especially if there's limited time, we'll bring that to the board as a draft, even as a bill, but it's up to the board whether to adopt it or not. However, with some aspects, if they don't choose to abide by the law, that's trouble for them.
But if there was something like a speed limit, I saw that one get introduced, or a
Stop
four-way
signs.
stop right
Those
by
have never
our
been
house.
introduced. Those have never been anything but drafts.
Well, it seems like it wasn't the board's idea. So
It
I'm
was,
just saying,
though.
the
That
board?
was-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
we
everybody
discussed
was saying no.
You discussed it
We
after
just-
it was brought and said, what
Well,
do you think about
they
this?
requested it
Or was that
initially.
Denise?
That's not even one that's required. They requested it initially. We did our best to draft it according to what they thought they wanted. There was considerable discussion of it later. And then ultimately, that was one, if I remember correctly, that eventually didn't pass at all.
Correct.
Yeah.
As
And
well
that's the
as
process.
we had a
You-
golf cart one that we didn't pass. We had an RTV, ATV one that we never
So you guys
passed.
asked for that, and then
There's
decided-
something, I think, I mean, my understanding is that the STCB found issues that all small towns deal with. Golf carts running the streets, four-wheelers rubbing up and down the roads, what have you. A lot of small towns deal with those issues, so they created ordinances. They brought them to us saying, okay, would you be interested in this? And we said,
As a draft.
as a draft, yes.
Okay,
And
so
we
that's
said,
what was
you know, there's nothing in there that's gonna affect us. We don't want to make every single person who drives a four-wheeler through the town of Jameson have to have a permit. We don't wanna do that. That one's going off the table. I mean,
And
that's
as
the
a
way that it works.
cooperative, these are, a lot of things are requested by one town and you did this for so-and-so,
Do you want it?
take a
for your
look at
town?
it and they say, no, fine.
No.
But ultimately, that's right. So sometimes things are brought to them that they didn't ask for, but ultimately, of course, the responsibility
It's our
is with
decision.
you all. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so, you have a motion on the floor
Motion on the floor to adopt. this
to
proposal.
adopt this proposal and to withdraw from the STCB. Do I have a second? So motion was denied due to
I put second.
no second. Okay, moving on. Financial reports.
I have
Are we
one.
done?
Okay.
Already passed it out.
My husband and I are dismissed.
This gives two sides.
It's the two sides on it.
Same paper.
See you, Jan.
Jameson
Thank
General
you.
Thanks,
Checking.
Jan.
Jameson General Checking in the back of the funds account. Checking account balance in the general fund is $651.59. Don't even think about spending lots of money this month. And the
the balance in the restricted funds, which
Oh, you're saying we discussed that.
section called the roads account, was 679720. I did get a street lights, you'll notice out of that, and probably will continue to for the rest of the year. Just for street lights, because I can, there's one here, so.
Extraordinary, expenses for the general fund account.
Any extraordinary expenses?
It does pretty basic, like the regular things we take.
Yeah, it's
There's
the
nothing, we
same,
didn't have
it's the same
anything.
thing, actually, yeah, we didn't have,
Okay.
and there was, you know, it's just good.
You get any information about putting new street light on?
No. Was I
Yeah.
supposed to?
I magically got a new street light on Walnut across from Patty, and it's good for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Farmers Electric did that?
LED loophole.
Yeah, I guess.
There wasn't one there before?
Do we have to have those?
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, one.
Oh.
It's pretty. It's a nice
Is it
one.
pretty? I didn't receive anything about it.
But it's just kind of in an odd place.
Huh.
I looked
And
at
they
the
had
door one
one
night and I
too
said,
old.
hey, there's a light over there. Wasn't there?
That's exactly what I thought.
Yeah, I looked out and there's a light over there. I said,
I
I
saw
hasn't been there
Should I
before.
send Farmers Electric a thank you note or what?
Yeah.
Can you send them a complaint at the same time?
Yeah.
Probably.
About the same thing?
About the light, annoying light, an annoying light.
Anyway, there's my report.
All right.
Do you have any questions, or anybody have any questions or discussion on the financials?
Now that you've been here 2 months, I'm gonna ask you to fix Rita's name. It's R-E-T-A. Rita Rings. It's
I know it
R-E-T-A.
is RETA, but in
You
all,
can't tell what you
but I can't.
That's insane.
Yeah,
Got it. Okay, exactly. Got it.
Sorry.
Never mind. Okay.
It's one of those computer things.
Yeah.
Okay, can I get an approval of the financial reports? A motion for approval of the financial reports.
I make the motion that we approve the financial reports as presented.
Second? Lisa, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Moving on. Water project.
Went to the meeting on Monday night, or Tuesday night, it was late for Monday, and they believe, their engineer believes that USDA Rural Development has every piece of paper they need, and it's awaiting Stan Wolf's final review and signature. And I haven't talked to him, I have emailed him, I want him to be working on it and not responding to me, so I don't know. And so then I said, okay, then what? And the response was, then they can be put out for bid. And
After he approves it.
after he approves it, it would be able to be let for bid, and it's either a 30-day or 60-day, and has some things it depends on. It'll all be advertised everywhere up around here with all the information and where to get the whole packet and so forth. So people will know, it'll be in the paper, and folks will know that it's real and it's happening, and it's been a long time.
Didn't it put together, would they start in the middle of winter?
Well, they, according to Wally, he said, who is a Davies 2 guy, and he's our water guy here, our supervisor, operator, I'm sorry. And he said there are a lot of things they can do in cold weather. I doubt that they're gonna be digging and trenching and doing that stuff, but they can be staging and they can be, figuring out their, 411, calling see where the lines are and staking all that, or marking all of that, so when they are ready to dig, then it'll be all marked. One call, sorry, I couldn't get it.
No, you can only do that
10 days ahead, okay, okay. All right, I did, I wrong.
So they might do it in the wintertime?
No, but they can't do it ahead, is what he's saying. He said it was wrong. Oh, he said it nicely. He didn't say it was wrong, but it was. Thanks, Jim.
It's more than likely gonna be spring.
Right.
Yes.
And
Well,
Wally
they'll
said he
just
thought it
take
would take
the
about
bid.
4 months. Now, I don't know again.
Weather and everything else, I'm sure.
Yeah, and Davies too hasn't done rural, hasn't done residential, hasn't done villages and towns. They've done just individuals going across pure land, where that's gas lines and very many electric and all that. So that's good.
Okay, we're progressing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, Jim, water report.
guess this goes with it. Okay, the other day, the state highway hit our car accident.
Yes.
So we had to charge $600 winds to fix it. And, pass it around, I
Yeah.
guess. So we need to figure a bill up to send to the state highway.
So we had to pay
I
winds.
think we should.
We pay winds and then MoDOT will reimburse us. That's just how that works, okay.
Do you want me to draw up the bill?
Please.
Okay, and you will pay it out of the water fund in the meantime, or do you want to wait?
I already got a check wrote out for you.
Okay.
You'd be making a statement, I think, for the highway department.
Right, I just
that
need to
needs
make a
include
statement
more
for
than
the
that.
house, for MoDOT.
Yeah.
Right, but it will
Yeah.
be more than that.
Keep that.
Right.
Yeah.
Christine
All right,
said his.
I'll get with you and we'll get it,
Yeah.
we'll get it
We
written up.
got water charge.
Right. And his-
Labor.
Right.
This time.
Okay, but you're paying winds, you're gonna go ahead and pay winds and then we, okay. All right.
Where did they hit that at? Down there, okay. I wasn't sure where it was at. Okay, anything else to?
Clinton Cole, the Jameson guy.
Yeah.
That's what made the water go out the other day?
Yes.
Somebody did that?
Yeah.
They were
MoDOT
mowing.
was mowing and they hit the water hydrant down there. So,
But these guys jumped on it really
Yeah.
quickly and had it back on.
yeah, I got out of work and had the text message it's off and had a text message it's back on and, okay, everything's good. So,
Yeah, that was,
thank you, good job.
Yes.
yeah, it was fast.
Okay, anything else for the water?
That's the name of the company who bought
The statement for the water CD?
dug out the fire
We're gonna have to
hydrant and
get
saved
into
fixed the
it
hydrant.
again.
Their last name is White, White now.
Okay.
Lady,
I'll say, or make me a copy.
Okay. Does our sewer operator have anything to report on?
Come on out.
Come on down.
You're on the spotlight.
First of all, you guys remember the Missouri Rural Water?
no, we was, and we was told not to drop. I mean, we only
Well,
got-
I think the reason why is because PW2 is taking us over as soon as they put in that new system.
Or when was the last time you done a rate study?
What?
Well, we're not gonna change our rates before PW2 comes in, and that's gonna be their.
Sewer.
their-
Sewer.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you meant water still, excuse me.
Well, Missouri Rural Water done one for coffee, for cost now. And we were really, really behind, you know, kind of breaking even, but not right, you know, if you're looking down the road. 2 years ago, we had a pump replaced and it was $7,800. Now it's 12, just in 3 years, so, but, you know, Jason mentioned this sort of department again. Low on times, but, you know, we need to be looking further than just tomorrow.
Right, right.
The big wigs say we need to be looking 6 years down the road, so. And we may be able to make the payments and do the repairs today, but if we don't have any for 10 years and you're not making any money, you're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah.
Because we just found out today, we pulled 2 pumps, and it's probably gonna be 20 grand.
Coffee.
Did, so who did you say did the rate study for
Missouri
coffee?
Rural Water.
Okay. Yeah.
That.
And, you know, we're a member, so it doesn't cost anything, you know, and if,
we don't talk, we charge $100.
did they?
As a member, they charge you $100?
Then another $75 for delegation or something. Right on there.
Could you check on them and see if they would charge us to do that?
Well, you gotta be a member, and I don't think that membership costs much. We'll see what's it cost to be a member of the Missouri Rural Water.
I do not know.
I still get a magazine from them.
We get some stuff in the mail from them. I don't know if we're still a member or not. We're not, okay. You would know.
was 8 and 2 years.
Oh, okay.
So 2 years we haven't done.
Yeah, I remember it's our municipal league, I don't know if they.
Well, that, you know, that is just, you know, suggesting, you know, but God, when people are talking about it, they're saying, you know,
Well, what's your rate? What was it? First thousand.
I don't even know. But they, see, when the guy came back with his chart, you know, he says, you guys are running up here. Well, he said, you really need to be, and he went down about 4 or 5 boxes. He said, this is where you really need to be. But instead of shocking these people with a $10 per thousand jump all at once, come down a couple boxes, wait 6 months, and then when you get where you're supposed to be, add 3% a year. In 5 years, you'll still be close. We're doing the rate study and get you back on scale again. We're just now starting to show that we're climbing a little bit, and then pull 2 pumps today, so we're a little bit.
Was climbing.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, we started finally. It was, tough because they got such bad shape and they had done a great study and raised the rates in how many years?
We raised ours last year.
We did. It's been a while. Other than that, everything looked good.
Thanks.
Thank
Yep.
you very much.
Yep.
Thanks, Steve. See ya.
Anything else to add to that?
Yeah.
How many gallons of water? Okay.
6,000.
Okay.
6,000.
Between
Yeah.
6 and 7.
Between 6 and 7,000.
I need that, I don't have a million gallon a day. I mean, that's short, but I didn't know.
That's his signature.
Okay. I got this today. Pass it around,
Okay. Jim, if you hadn't stab it again, I think I didn't look already in, well, you got it in hand. I know I looked at it, I may have zipped it over you, sorry.
And this is the lift station repairs?
Is that repairing the old pump or is that repairing the one that's Skip to the
Take $83 off of the bill.
Off of the original quote. The original quote, okay.
I think I've seen it.
Oh, you've seen it, okay.
Like what's the rate here? And the lights on that big thing.
But it would have been from just those greenhouses, right? They're on it, 4, yeah.
Sheet.
Is that,
Screwdriver around one. One day.
hey, Steve? That was how to mark my
I have a question.
Can I keep a copy of it? Can I make a copy? Jan, just make a copy.
If you got a copy of it,
She can just make
you give me 2 copies.
No, I gave you 2 copies, I don't have one at home, but I can print it or she can copy it right there.
Okay.
So the electrical control panel repair was
Now we're gonna,
There's $7,000 that we're gonna have to.
Yes.
30 days.
Within,
Now we gotta make
and this was, let's see, I said, yeah, it's due the 14th of November. Okay.
And you're just.
So we need
That'll be a general.
So,
We're not going to remove money from here.
Because the bill is.
the bill is $7,033.
Take $3 off.
No.
7,000, so that takes us down to zero.
Right. I don't know how much, I think there's 12,000.
And that's the sewer only CD, right?
That's the water. Sewer don't have,
Oh, I thought that was what we were trying to
we can,
figure.
oh yeah, I don't know.
If
Or
it was.
here.
I thought we just moved the general CD.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm talking about? Okay,
Oh.
okay.
It's a
just
general CD.
You've already changed it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good.
But it's.
I wasn't here last
And
time,
it's
so I
about
thought we
15
discussed
minutes.
that one. So
12.
The sewer repairs are about 7,000, and, you know, there's 68, yeah, and so we gotta pay this bill. And we have that CD, and it's got about 12 and a half.
And how much, 12,000?
$12,046.10.
So that's, so I would move that we, I don't even know if we need to do
I
that.
think we already did that.
Okay, good.
I think we did in the August meeting. Let me check the wrong book.
I know we discussed it, but
I thought we
don't
already
remember.
voted to take it out of the CD.
I think we did too.
I think we did.
Good.
I know we discussed it, I can.
I don't know if we did on it. Yeah.
Okay, right here, right here, right here. Oh, I'm so proud of myself for finding it. The August 20th meeting. Jim reported lift station repair would be approximately $7,033. Elaine had sent in the credit application, tax exempt letter to the Matthews Company in Kansas City. Beth moved to proceed with repairs in lift station 2 and to use funds from CD to pay for repairs. Leave the second and then the motion passed.
Done.
There we go.
Check.
There we go, okay. That's taken care of.
I thought I remembered that. Can't remember a lot of stuff.
Now, so how do we do this?
Replacing that was not.
Well, we'll just have,
We're gonna.
Go down to the, I don't know, I've never been on the board when we had to get stuff
yeah.
out of the CD, just go to the
Yeah,
bank
yeah,
and.
to go- yeah, to go.
Remind me, or not? Or is it just,
I think it's you, Beth, and Hannah, and we have to go physically get the CD out of the bank box. And then they will transfer the money that we want
Into his water, or
into
into
the
the general fund.
And then the rest of it will go back into another CD. So,
How, with the process of how to get the money out of the CD
yeah,
and,
it's just, it'll require signatures, that's on it.
okay.
And do we want to leave the remaining amount in that same CD, or do we?
I would think so.
Okay, so we probably have to issue another CD for that
Put it
lesser
that or put it
amount.
into a savings account, however y'all wanna do it.
I think we can ask for advice when we go to,
Yeah.
I don't think the interest rate's very high.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
No, it's
So
not.
savings accounts aren't that much. So somebody again,
Less than 0.5%. I'll just check on it and see who, I think you and Jim and Mary, we'll just have to.
you'll just let us know what to do.
Yeah,
We need to
actually,
find something.
you'll probably have to. Go down and sign it and then we'll transfer it.
Okay, but you're gonna work through what's
I'll
gonna
work
happen with
through
it.
it and let you know. I will.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And you'll put it in an account we have a check on, so we can
Yes.
just get it out.
Yes.
Okay.
I will do
I'm not
that
gonna
too.
carry it home in my house.
All right.
Okay, anything else on the sewer?
um,